If you hold a modern supermarket apple in one hand and a traditional heritage variety in the other, you'll immediately notice something strange. The heritage apple feels lighter, almost hollow by comparison. Why is that? And why do traditional apples grown across Ireland and the British Isles look, taste, and behave so radically differently from one another? Welcome back. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating pomology, genetics, and structural physics of Irish heritage apple cultivars. We're going to look at how they stack up against their UK counterparts, how a hyper-wet maritime climate completely rewrote their genetic defences, and the precise cellular reasons behind that light fruit density. Whether you're an orchardist in Wexford, a gardener in Yorkshire, or just a lover of missing history, this is the technical breakdown of the island's greatest forgotten fruits. Let's start with the environmental crucible. Ireland experiences some of the highest rainfall and relative humidity lines in Northern Europe. For an apple tree, high humidity is an absolute nightmare. It is the perfect breeding ground for two devastating fungal pathogens, Apple Scab, Venturia inaequalis, and Apple Canker, Neonectria dutissima. Because of this constant evolutionary pressure, Irish heritage cultivars are absolute marvels of field resistance. Take the Cork native Ard Cairn Russet. It features a thick, rugged, golden brown skin that acts as a natural shield against scab spores. Compare that to its primary UK counterpart, the famous Egremont Russet. While Egremont is a brilliant apple if you plant it in waterlogged or highly humid soils, it frequently suffers from bitter pit, a physiological disorder, linked to uneven calcium uptake and canker. We see this pattern repeat across the board. The Louth favourite, Blood of the Boyne, sports a deeply pigmented, clean skin that completely outclasses its English equivalent, Devonshire Quarrenden, which is notoriously vulnerable to severe scab infestation in wet seasons. Irish varieties simply had to evolve these robust defences to survive centuries of wet Atlantic springs. Now, let's address that mystery we started with, the weight. Why do Irish heritage apples feel so light? It all comes down to a technical metric called Intercellular Air Space, or IAS. Inside the flesh of any apple, there are tiny pockets of air trapped between the cell walls. In highly bred, modern commercial apples designed for long shipping lanes, these air pockets are tiny. The cell structure is compressed, resulting in an intercellular airspace of just 10 to 15%. This gives the apple a dense, specific gravity and that loud, watery snap when you bite into it. But many traditional Irish cultivars possess an intercellular airspace closer to 20 or 25%. The tissue is highly aerated. This lower tissue density means less water weight per cubic centimetre. This structural difference fundamentally alters how the apples cook. When you heat an apple with high intercellular airspace, the air pockets expand rapidly as steam. The thin cell walls rupture quickly, causing the fruit to instantly collapse. This is why the Belfast classic Ecklinville seedling and the northern Ballyfatton are such legendary cookers. They dissolve into a frothy, velvety, smooth sauce in minutes. Compare that to denser English cookers. Or dual-purpose types like James Grieve or Allington Pippin, which hold their blocky physical shape for much longer under heat. If you want to experience these unique flavour and growth profiles but are working with traditional UK varieties, the pairings are striking. If you love the rich, aromatic, sugar and acid punch of the early 19th century Kerry Pippin, your closest UK match is the legendary Yorkshire heirloom Ribston Pippin. Both deliver an intense, complex historical flavour profile that modern varieties have entirely lost. However, there is a massive genetic catch. Ribston Pippin is a triploid variety. It carries sterile pollen, meaning it cannot cross-pollinate your other trees and requires two distinct pollen partners nearby to crop successfully. Meanwhile, if you're chasing the ultra-sweet, low-acid, juicy profile of Cairn sugarcane, the Scottish favourite James Grieve is your closest equivalent. Both yield heavy crops of refreshing autumn fruit, but Cairn sugarcane retains the upper hand if your soil is prone to dampness, showing far greater resilience to spring canker. Ultimately, choosing between these heritage cultivars isn't just about preserving a piece of agricultural history. It's about smart, low-intervention horticulture. By understanding the technical bits, the high intercellular airspace that makes Irish cookers so sublime, and the natural genetic resistance bred by a damp maritime climate, you can design an orchard that thrives with minimal chemical spraying. The work of groups like the Irish Seed Savers Association has kept these unique genetic profiles alive. Whether you're planting on a windswept hill in Connaught or a walled garden in Kent, there is an heirloom variety perfectly engineered for your microclimate. Thank you for watching. If you found this deep dive into pomological science helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more technical orchard breakdowns, and let me know in the comments, which heritage variety are you planting this season? Until next time, happy growing.